Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Air Tycoon Online 3. If I am correct, this is episode 35. And I've already recorded an episode today actually, but this is time for the second episode. Because I haven't recorded one for so long, I need to start kind of uploading again. I don't know, I just didn't feel like it for a while. But anyways, as you guys can see, my company right now is doing pretty good. Got lots of profit, lots of routes, and as you guys can see across the board, no matter where you look, we just get a pretty decent profit, like 3K, 4K, um, all the way down to about halfway, and then you get switched over to a lot of the 707s. And basically, all my airplanes are making a good amount of profit. Um, if we look at quarterly profits, I've been going up pretty quickly, and same with yearly profits, as you guys can see, Um, This is the highest yearly profit we've ever had so far. But anyway, it only tracks 3 years of yearly profit. That's pretty unlucky. But anyways, like as you guys can see, we've been increasing on all those low measures. So yeah, it's all going pretty good. So what is there left to do? Um, well, this episode I just didn't really actually want to talk about routes or anything too much. I just wanted to talk about the strategy behind this world and what's going on now. The first thing you probably have noticed about this world is there's an incredibly low amount of competition. Like, just looking at the leaderboards, I mean, most of these players have, like, the top 10 probably average only around 250, 270, maybe 300 aircraft. Um, yeah, probably less than 300 aircraft, so that's not a lot of aircraft flying in this world. As you guys can see, there's really no bottom half, like, nobody's really actually playing the game until maybe like around here. There's some players who are actually actively playing, and then everyone relevant is like here and above. So there's not really many relevant players playing this game, um, as you can see by the extent at which I'm dominating passenger counts. I mean, like in my original Air Tycoon Online world, which I left to play this one due to the triple overlapping competition, and it was my first round of Air Tycoon Online 3. I just didn't understand some of the competition, the way competition worked in this game. Yeah, it didn't go too well. The count's still doing well. It's still top 10 and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna get first in that world, so I'm less interested in playing it out. Basically, um, yeah, I really want to come in first, which is why, um, basically I'm playing in this new world now. Is because well, it's just a random chance. I got a world with so little competition. Um, I didn't want to play in a world with I didn't want to play in a world where it was impossible to come in first anymore because of something I messed up. So why not get a fresh start and see? Well, and this is the kind of game I like to play it more too. Is see if I can catch up and close a big gap, because I don't know why I find this funner. I find it funner to try and close the gap between me and first than I do to be first and hold it. You know what I mean? Because that's the position I was in. I was in first, and all I had to do was hold it. And I started getting this competition, and I just didn't respond in the correct way. Um, because I didn't really know what was going on, basically. So, yeah, anyways, that's a pretty long winded way of saying I want to start a new world. Anyways, besides all that, what is my strategy going to be so far in this world? Now, basically what I've been doing better in this world than I have been in my last world is I've been matching the kind of routes I've been making to the airplane a little bit better. Um, Basically, every airplane I pick for a route is usually a more suitable size than it was in the last world. Basically, I'm more accurately matching the size of the aircraft to the goodness of the route. Like as you guys can see right now, I'm taking S747 SPs and doing stopovers to Europe using Los Angeles, and these are completely worth it because those 300-ish cities in Europe are actually very, very good um, when you're using good premium aircraft like the 747 SP. Um, 747 SP is one of my favorite aircraft. It's actually not a great aircraft in the fact that it's pretty expensive for the number of passengers it can hold, but it kind of makes up for that and then some by being, um, such an efficient aircraft in general, and an aircraft with such good range. It's also a plane which I think it's a good size, 380 seats. So basically, what that means, a 380 seater aircraft, or it's close enough to a 750 seat aircraft. So or a 350 seat, not 750. What kind of 750 A380 are we talking about here? But like, it's very close to the size of a average like 250 seater basically. Ori Airways, 55% satisfaction, 72 name value. Can we compete with that? We probably can, but let me see if I can find a monopoly. Yeah, let's just make it. Why not? Um, yeah, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying that 747 SP is in general a pretty efficient aircraft for routes where you combine the business and tour of the two cities. Like where one city is say 900, you'd probably want to connect a 250 or higher city to it. Um, if you're connecting a 800 city, you probably want around 300 city connecting to it. So, like for example, Frankfurt has a combined business and tour of 800 in this world. If I want to use a 747 SP, I would probably want to find a city with 300, like this, for example. That's the Kathmandu is not quite 300 actually, so maybe that's not a great example. Let me find one. There's actually not many. Nanjing. Now this is 747-100, and as you guys can see, it's not completely full. Uh, and the other half of this route is to Los Angeles, and that those routes are doing okay, as you guys can see. And a 747 SP would be more suitably sized in the fact that it would never lose occupancy. It would always be sitting at 100. Now Daegu is a little bit bigger than 300, so of course 747 dash 100 is fine. But also like a route like Barcelona, you can connect it with a 747 SP to 300. 700 ish cities to with 747 SPs like this, I think, are also pretty good. As you guys can see, it's come 100% occupancy and a downtick, which is always nice to see. Let's make some more routes to Barcelona, shall we? Um, I have not done a expansion out of Barcelona for a while now, and there seems to be a lot of great routes left, like Cao Xiang and stuff like that. I find that one of the bigger problems with uh, stopovers where you go, from a city in North America to a large city in Europe, back to a city in Asia, is all the best. Like, there's a lot of 200 ish cities in Asia, um, where there's not, or not 200 ish, there's a lot of, 400 combined business and tour cities in Asia and not so many in North America. And at the same time, there's less cities in Asia and more cities in North America in total, but a lot of the North American cities are unusably small. So there's a bit of an imbalance there, but honestly, it's not a big deal. As you guys can see, I'm just happily using my 747 SPs to take these routes from Barcelona. Um, I've also given up on my 1.30 pricing thing. I think when you're using nicer aircraft like the 747 SP, you can afford like super high satisfaction aircraft, you can afford to charge it a little bit more, whilst on lower satisfaction aircraft like um, Boeing 707-320, in what is this? Like this is like 1970 or something like that. Then you kind of want to reduce the cost of your aircraft you're using, like um, or you want to like increase the satisfaction of the aircraft you're using. Uh, Yeah, one thing, like, basically for me, I'm using the 747 SP in place of all the 350 seater aircraft, the DC 10s, the Lockheed Martin aircraft of this era. I'm just using the 747 SP instead, just because 747s have such high satisfaction, and that seems to have a really, really good effect on routes. I'm not sure why, but it does. Also, as you guys can see, I'm colonizing the Philippines. I do not really care. Um, what do we have here? Portland? Let's do Portland. No, it's not a proper stopover route, apparently. So we got Tampa and you got New Orleans. Hopefully I can make this route. As you guys can see, I'm running really low on time. I don't think it'll go through. I think this will probably go through on the next turn. But that's okay, at this stage of the game, it's hard to notice. singular routes like this making any difference. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's hard to notice singular routes effect on your company. It's only when you make 5, 6, 7, or 8 routes you start to notice your company swaying from, like, it's not swaying, but getting better and better, really. Anyways, another thing is, look at how few cities we have left. So that's a T114 stopover. So let's just compete with that, because we can pretend that's not even there. You know what I mean? And there we go. Ticks passed. If I see 1 billion, 1 million K on my profit, I'm gonna be so happy. Jesus Christ, we're almost there, guys. 850K on this uptake. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm very happy about that. We can make this as a route. Both of these legs are competition, but that's, competition. That's competition too, but Paris to Singapore is just such a good route. I don't think we have to worry about that. Let's relieve that monopoly real quick. So both these routes, we can almost pretend there's no competition, because one of them, the demand is just so high, and um, the other one, its competition is stopover TU114. It's not something to be threatened by. Um, Anyways, let's further buy some 747 SPs now. So we just can't afford 5 of them. So let's buy 3 of them, and then buy a set of 5 cargo aircraft, because that's what we can do for the rest of this episode. It's just expand off 737s and cargo. Now, 737s on cargo are less efficient than 747s on passengers, but they of course do still have the benefits of being cargo routes. Where let me just quickly switch to my cargo routes real quick. Where you don't really have to worry about a lot of the downsides of passengers. There's no uptakes and downtakes. They're much faster to make. What else is the benefits of cargo? Uh, it's also, a separate stat, so it'd be nice to be first in that, but like, there's actually not that many benefits of cargo. It's generally low profit, but at the same time, oh, here's the last benefit. It's extremely low competition, in the fact that, as you guys can see, like, even a city like London is, mostly, like, nobody cares. Like, there's no competition to London for cargo, even though there's so much competition for passengers. You know what I mean? Like, you can find monopolies at any time which make money with cargo, just not very much money. The return rates are slow. You know what I mean? It'll take many turns to. It'll take many turns to recover the cost of the aircraft on a cargo route. Like, for example, my 737 profiting 1K or 1.5K would take, a good 30 turns to recover its own cost. Um, Whilst, that would be much less for a lot of other routes. But anyways, ooh, Toulouse. Let's do Paris to Toulouse on a cargo route. How about that? Um, I think we need to go into this menu to open a cargo storage. So let's open a cargo storage there. There's actually no slots in Toulouse, so we can do Casablanca instead. This is very nice. Once we get, some more cargo going, we can. Whoops. I'm so used to cleaning the passenger routes. Yeah, once we get some more cargo going, we can get some more of those quest unlocks, actually. Not like it's a big deal. Like those quest unlocks are worth a lot anymore. Like, the amount you get from a quest unlock is so small. It's hard to notice almost. Um, but at the same time, uh, it's nice to get them still. Uh, Also, as you guys can see, there is an incredible lack of cargo routes available to Seoul, at least. Um, I see one, and that's it. It seems like somebody's hubbed off Seoul pretty good there, so you might want to look for different routes. Another thing for me is I actually have a lot of hubs available, which I just haven't even gotten around to yet. Like, for example, Tokyo. Tokyo's a great city with a lot of good routes to it because, of the low competition of this world. Uh, as you guys can see, if I switch this route to passengers, it does look like somebody actually recently has started hubbing off of Tokyo and taking some of the better routes which weren't taken before. But I'm still probably going to open this hub in Tokyo and just start taking a lot of these routes, Brussels, Cologne, but previously even stuff like Manchester was untaken, but they still haven't got Glasgow, Birmingham, Dublin. Even Dublin's big in this world. Jesus Christ, I used to think they haven't taken Milano. Italian cities, still a few. Tunis, uh, here. There's still a lot of good routes to take. Not too many. Szczecin, Gdansk, Gothenburg. No, there's enough cities. Donetsk. There's enough notable cities that are still untaken where I feel like I could open a hub here and make, good money. Like a lot of these routes would be very good direct Boeing 707 routes. Later of which I could upgrade those 707s to say some better aircraft like uh, I don't know. Let's think. What good like slightly larger aircraft come out soon? I think we get the A310s soon. The A310-200. I think that's not too far away. Um, but most notably, the 767 comes out in a few days. Yeah, literally, the 767-200 comes out in a few days. And that will be a really good plane for taking some of those routes, which don't feel like they should be worth it. Now, one interesting thing to note about the 767-200 is it's very expensive for the number of seats you get, which is pretty curious actually, because it's 160K for the 290 so odd seats you get. Now, I feel like that's actually a distinctly bad ratio. For example, these Lockheed Martins, uh, this Lockheed Martin costs 160K for 330 seats. Now, that's an okay ratio. It's not even great. Like, if you go to McDonnell Douglas and look at the DC 1030, the DC 1030 has 170K for 360 seats. So you paid 9K for 30 extra seats. That's getting better. The Airbus B4, for example, 375 seats for 165K. So when you're paying 160K to get, like 70 less seats, that kind of means you're paying for an expensive aircraft with not a lot of not a lot of seats. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess though, the same story goes for the 747 SP. You're paying a lot for the amount of seats, but this plane actually has a distinctly high cruise speed at 0.86 Mach, and that makes it fantastic for ultra long haul. The 0.86 Mach means just like compared to I think like the 0.8 Mach that a lot of these other planes I'm looking at fly. Yep, DC 1030 is 0.82. Uh, Lockheed Martin is 0.8 Mach. I think the 767-200 is probably around the same. So generally slow flying, and the slow flying nature of those aircraft means, in my opinion, that it's just slightly less desirable for. Whoa, can I make that? Wow, that's a good cargo route. I feel it's almost a little bit of a shame just putting a singular 737 on this cargo route, but we can charge more for it then. We made a single cargo route to LAX. What's the range? I wish I knew the range. Is this in range? Like, that is still in range. Is this still in range? No longer in range. Is Louisville in range? No, so the range is like just on the border of what you'd want. So I need to buy some 727s, I believe. The 727 cargo planes are pretty good. Um, yeah, but anyways, I guess that's all the cargo routes we can make to LAX. Uh, do I have anywhere to make to London? You do routes like Vienna and stuff like that, but just in general, like Vienna, Belgrade, all these cities have very mediocre business. But anyways, guys, that's probably enough for today, actually. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys next time. It looks like the recording froze anyway.